A moment of silence at the Moi Forces Academy in Eastleigh today. And that is how President Kenyatta broke his silence 3 days after the Kila Solai Dam incident and after several weeks of devastation in 32 counties affected by the floods.
Particular are also very distressing. Many of the victims in Nakuru were children. They were our sons and daughters. And to know that their lives were cut short so early is to know a deep sorrow and anguish. And I pray that the families of those who have lost, who we have lost, will be comforted.
The Kenya Red Cross had, according to its Secretary General Gov't, set aside 500 million shillings for emergency response at the onset of the rains, but the magnitude of rain and damage caused by the floods has been catastrophic, to say the least. The initial emergency response was limited to provision of emergency shelter, water and healthcare. But with the destruction in Solai, where about 300 homesteads were flattened by sludge, the intervention has now widened to include recovery and rehabilitation of homes. At least 64,000 people have been affected by floods in Tana River County, most of them now residing in camps. Initial intervention efforts had by mid this week run low on supplies, prompting a call for more assistance. The government has now made available 1 billion shillings for use by the Kenya Red Cross, while a combined total of 383 million shillings will be coming from the European Union, United Kingdom and the Dutch government.
We in government will also continue to do our part as we continue to rescue marooned Kenyans, give water and essential medicines where they are called for, intervene and continue to bring relief food, and restore clean water systems and sanitation where necessary.
Kenya Red Cross hopes to hold talks with the government on how to utilize the funds, given the different needs by different victims. For instance, in Solai, victims whose permanent homes were destroyed will be handled differently from those who lived in rented shelter. A decision has to be made on whether to rebuild homes or relocate the victims, and just how much the 1.4 billion shilling boost can achieve. The president spoke while launching a national campaign to plant at least 50 million trees by the end of the year. To do this, the president has tasked county governments to boost tree planting activities and nurture existing forests. The president has further directed parastatals to allocate at least 10% of their corporate social responsibility funds to the growing of tree seedlings to support the campaign.
So today I must ask the Ministry of Environment and Forestry and the Ministry of Education to consider how best to teach our children a new appreciation of the dangers of climate change and of the necessity of preserving our environment.
By 2022, the government hopes to get at least 250 million new trees planted, hoping to boost the forest cover from the current 7% to 10%. Sam Gitukus Reason, Weekend.